Hi everyone, I'm Maestra Askren and I'm a conductor. Have you ever seen a concert where there's a person standing in the middle of the musicians and they're waving their hands around? Maybe they have a white stick in their hand? Well, that's the conductor, and that's me. A conductor is called maestro or maestra instead of Mr. or Mrs. because maestro and maestra is the Italian word meaning master. That means that you have mastered your craft of conducting music. And then that means that you can get in front of musicians and either teach them or conduct them. We're here together in my music room. This is my special place where I play, study, and learn music before I meet the group of musicians I'll be conducting. This is also where I can teach music to young musicians near and far, thanks to the internet. So I have all of my special music tools and materials to help me right here in my music room. There are instruments, my batons, books, and of course, a lot of music. Come on, I'll show you. So here are my batons, and as you can see, they're all different shapes and sizes. So let me show you a couple of them. You can see that this one is rather long. They all have a tapered point and a little tip here, and then they have the part where you can actually hold it. So as you can see, this one is kind of oval, but they're not all the same. Like this one, for example, you see, this one is a little bit wider here. It's a little bit shorter, and this one has a circle around it, see? And so you can hold it differently. But I'll show you my favorite one. This is my favorite one of all, see? And this is because it has a special wood. It's a teardrop handle. It's a special kind of wood called Purple Heart. And you might know that Purple Heart is a special award that you can get for bravery. And so I like to feel very brave when I have my favorite baton in my hand. So this is my favorite one. I wanted to share it with you. But you know that batons are kind of like magic wands, you know? But it's not as if you can do fancy spells or you can make objects levitate as you see in the movies, because that's not really real. That's not real magic. But this baton does do real magic. Do you know how? Because when the conductor raises the baton and the music starts, because you have the musicians, you can go back through centuries and you can go to faraway lands to dance with historic kings and queens, to meet mythical fairies in enchanted forests, to fight pirates on the open sea, or to explore the planets. The stories told by the orchestra or an opera all come to life the minute that the conductor's baton is in motion. And that is the magic of music. I have many instruments here. I have some violins, but you can see they're sleeping in their cases. And then I have some percussion instruments. These are the bongos. Then I have some wind instruments that you blow into, like the recorders. And then I even have a harmonica, which is also a wind instrument. But the instrument that I use most every day is the piano. Some pianos are smaller and look like upright boxes, but others are larger and longer, like this one. But whether we have small or large pianos, they all have the same number of keys, 88. And they all start at the lowest note, an A, all the way up to the top. At my piano, I play and study all the music that I have to prepare before I get in front of the orchestra or opera. And all of the music that I have to prepare is found in the pages of this special book.
Opera Bites. The Magic Flute, a sing-spiel opera.
Wait, no.
That's Singspiel. And that means that in an opera, the characters sing and speak.
Okay. A Singspiel opera in 2 acts, published in 1791. That's a long time ago. The composer is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Oh, yeah, I know him. Yeah, Mozart. But what's a composer?
A composer is the person who writes down all the music.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I know, right? And the librettist is Emanuel Schikaneder.
Shake and Baker? Chickinator? What?
Schikaneder. He was the librettist. That means he wrote the story and the words, and he was Mozart's creative partner. And they wrote a lot of operas together.
Oh, okay. So, what's the story?
Well, if you listen, I'll actually tell you.
Okay.
The Magic Flute is an opera about courage, growing up, magic of course, some monsters, but not too scary, funny stuff, and love, but it's not too yucky. It has some good lessons to learn about courage, telling the truth, and being determined to learn and develop character even if it's hard. Once upon a time, in a make-believe world where both humans and creatures lived, there was a young prince named Tamino. He should have been brave, but he wasn't yet. Tamino has been chased by a huge snake. But instead of being brave and fighting it, he was screaming his head off and yelling, "Help! Help!" He is so scared, he faints. But then, out of nowhere, comes 3 magical women who killed the big snake and saved Tamino. But even if they're strong, they're not very wise, so they start fighting about who was the strongest and who saved Tamino the most. Then the 3 ladies leave, and Tamino wakes up. But when he opens his eyes, he sees a strange creature, half man, half bird, staring at him. The bird man's name is Papageno. Papageno lies to Tamino and says that he killed the snake, but we know that's not true. The 3 ladies did. Oh, Papageno. The 3 ladies return and put a lock on Papageno's mouth for having told a lie. Then they give Tamino a picture of the beautiful Princess Pamina, and they say that she must be saved from the evil priest Zarastro. That's a funny name. Tamino promises he will save Pamina because he has fallen in love with her already just from the picture. Pamina's mom comes in. She is the beautiful queen of the night, and she promises Tamino that he can marry Pamina if he rescues her. Well, anyway, the 3 ladies give Tamino a magic flute, and they give Papageno magic bells. They send the 2 men on their way to save Pamina, and they even have 3 angel boys as their guides. And Papageno can talk again, but shouldn't tell a lie anymore. But do you think he will? Off they go together. Maestra Askren.
Welcome to Ask Maestra Askren. Today's question comes from Sophie, who is 6 years old.
Hello, my name is Sophie. I'm French Malaysian. I'm 6 years old. And how does the conductor conduct without any papers or information? Does she have a special book that tells her what to play?
Great question, Sophie. And the answer is yes, there is a special music book that all classical musicians know how to read so they know exactly what music they should play. And that book is called a music score. A music score is like a storybook, but instead of using words and pictures to tell a story, it uses musical notes and instructions. A musician reads a score just as you can read a book. You can read a book to yourself, silently in your mind, or you can read it out loud for yourself or to share with others. A musician reads the score in the same way, either silently in their mind without an instrument, or out loud by using their instrument for themselves or so that others can hear. Sometimes a score is only for one instrument. This is called a solo piece. Solo is an Italian word meaning alone, but you don't feel lonely at all when you play solo music. Sometimes a score is written for a few instruments. This is called chamber music because you play together in a chamber or a room. It's really fun to play with friends. Then you have scores written for a lot of musicians playing at the same time. This is called an orchestral piece because an orchestra plays the music. In an orchestra, you can have 50, 80, even 100 players sometimes, playing all at the same time. But that's not the biggest a score can get. Sometimes a score can have both an orchestra and singers singing words and telling a story at the same time. This is called opera. It's like watching a theater play and hearing beautiful music all at once. But if you add so many musicians playing on stage together and you add singers singing at the same time, it can get very complicated and people can get totally confused.
I can't hear what you're playing over there.
Did you start yet? Where am I?
And that's why for big groups like an opera or an orchestra, you need a conductor. The job of a conductor is to make sure that a big group of musicians can play together well, that they can rehearse or practice together well, and also that what they're playing is actually exactly what's written in the pages of a score. In order to do that, a conductor has to be able to read a musical score. Now, just as you have learned the ABCs and then you can read storybooks and even write your own stories, you can also learn the musical ABCs, and so you can read and write music. This is the letter A, and we write it like this. But we can also write the letter A in different ways. We can write it like this, or we can write it like this. But whatever way we write it, those are all the same letter, the letter A. Sometimes the A sounds short, like this, ah. But sometimes it sounds different, it sounds longer, like this, A. But whether it's sounding short, ah, or long A, they're still letter A sounds. Once we know how to read and write the letter A, we can then make words using that letter. For example, cat or cake. Yum. The same is true for musical notes. For example, the musical note A looks like this. But the musical note A can also look like this, or it can look like this. They all look different, but they all are a musical note whose name is A. Sometimes A's sound like this. That's the first one that we wrote. But sometimes an A can sound like this. Much lower. That was the second A that we wrote together. Sometimes you can have A in the middle. And that was the third A. But whether it's all the way down here or all the way up here, those are all from the family of the musical note A. And once you understand that all of those are A's, then you can make musical words or chords together using the note A. For example, A major. Or something sad, F sharp minor, for example. Isn't A amazing? It's amazing.
Opera bites. Zoroaster is speaking with his priests. He tells them that Tamino is ready for his test to become wise and strong. He prays to Isis and Osiris, really cool gods from ancient Egypt, to protect Tamino and Pamina during the difficult trials they will go through. The first test is for both Tamino and Papageno. It is the test of silence, and they can't speak a word, no matter what happens. But he saw how good Papageno is at that. Not. The three ladies appear out of nowhere again and try to scare the men into talking. Of course, Papageno can't resist and fails the test, but Tamino is strong and doesn't say a word, so he passes the first test. Then we see Pamina with her mother, the queen of the night. Actually, the queen is not so nice after all. She secretly really hates Zoroaster because he took over the temple that she really wanted for herself. And now the queen wants Pamina to help her destroy Zoroaster. Pamina is really upset and afraid of her mother's anger. But she loves her mother and tries to help by asking Zoroaster to forgive the queen for her meanness. And do you know what Zoroaster says? Revenge has no place in my kingdom. He wants to forgive her and not hurt her. Yay, Zoroaster! Now we're back with Tamino and Papageno, who still have to be quiet and not talk. But of course Papageno is hungry, so he complains and asks for food. An old woman suddenly appears with food, looking like a stinky witch. Ugh. Where did she come from? Papageno wants to have fun and asks her if she has a boyfriend. What? And do you know what she says? Yes, his name is Papageno. Papageno almost lost his feathers. He was so surprised. Then Tamino plays his magic flute and Pamina appears. She is so relieved and happy to see him, but Tamino can't speak, so he doesn't say a word to her. Pamina thinks that he doesn't care about her anymore, and she is so upset that she sings about her broken heart. But then the three angel boys come in and cheer Pamina up. It's just what she needed. Meanwhile, Tamino and Papageno go to Zarastro for the final trial. Papageno is thirsty again and complains about it again. And the old lady appears again, saying this time that she really, really, really wants to marry Papageno. Papageno is kind of grossed out, but then he thinks about it and feels sorry for the old woman being all alone by herself. And she does have a good heart, so he promises to live with her and take care of her. But wait! Papageno just made a promise he truly wants to keep. That was Papageno's true test to make a kind, honest promise he will honor in his mind and heart. And poof! The old woman turns into Papageno, his beautiful half-woman, half-bird, perfect partner. They are so happy together. Tamino and Pamina are now allowed to pass the last test together. Protected by the music of Tamino's magic flute, they pass the fire test. Then the water test. They passed all the tests. Now they learn things about themselves and each other, and are smarter and wiser. Everyone is happy now. Well, almost everyone. The queen of the night is with Monastatos and the three ladies, and they're planning to destroy the temple. Their anger, jealousy, and fighting are making them want to do bad things and hurt people. But as soon as they try to attack the temple, its powerful magic pushes them back and throws them into a prison. Zarastro comes out of the temple in the beautiful sunlight with all of his priests. He has a party for Tamina and Pamina, Papageno and Papagena. Everyone's invited, and they all start singing and dancing, even the animals. And they all live happily ever after. The end. The Green Room.
I am Raynell Krause. I'm an opera singer. I also am an aerialist, so I study circus arts.
Why do you like that role so much?
I really love the Queen of the Night. There are so many different ways to think about the music that she sings and the words that she says. She can just be very angry and sort of unhinged, or there are other ways to play her where maybe all of that is coming out of how hurt she is and how scared she is.
How you get your voice to be so big and so strong and powerful.
Singing is very much like playing a sport. So if anyone plays softball or soccer or football, you go to practice. If you've ever listened to a piece of music and gotten goosebumps all up and down your body, or it, gives you these sensations that seem to come out of nowhere, that is part of connection.
And how do you feel when that magic is happening between you on stage and the public, that you really feel that magic happen?
It is magic. If you've ever listened to a piece of music and gotten goosebumps all up and down your body, or if you watch a movie and it makes you cry, or it makes you laugh, or it, gives you these sensations that seem to come out of nowhere, that is part of connection. And I think that's the most important thing about singing in a live performance with my friends on stage and my friends in the orchestra and all of my new friends in the audience. We may not have ever met each other ever, but we're all sharing the same experience. And there's something about, it's not just energy and emotion from me to them, they're also giving back. And you can feel it. It's sort of electric in the air. And that, I think, is really the magic of live theater. It's not the same on a screen. And I think that's what gets people hooked, is that you go and it just sort of lights up your body in a whole new way.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us, or that you would like to share about your profession or the magic of singing for you?
Singing, opera is magical. It is. To go to an opera and sit in the dark, in the quiet of the hall, and hear the orchestra start to tune their instruments, and everything gets sort of bubbly and excited, and then the curtain comes up and you just get to be in this whole other world, is amazing. But singing for me is even more. And I think that everyone can sing. Singing is a human activity. And just like sports, not everyone is gonna be at the same level as another person, but that doesn't mean that you can't have fun while you're doing it. So the act of singing for me is that I get to take my whole inner world and all of my emotions and things that I think and how music affects me, and I get to sort of funnel it through my voice in a very athletic and artistic endeavor. And I can share that with a whole hall of people so that we can all have this amazing experience together. And for me, it's just unlike anything else.
Wow, well, you just make us want to run to the theater right now. Hopefully we'll be able to do that before too long, but it's great that we can also have these virtual conversations together so that we can still stay in touch and learn about the magic of live music making and the power of the voice of each one of us.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.